Beach, sun and music as the ESC, as it's known to its legions of followers, hits Tel Aviv. On the beach, a mix of tourists and fans awaits Saturday's grand finale with anticipation.
Tel Aviv is the city when it's always fun, and when people from the whole Europe coming here to see something, I think it will become more fun than it's always.
We are ready to go in the big stage here. I am happy to represent my country, Albania, and ready, steady, go!
Israel is hosting this year's Eurovision Song Contest because of this singer, Netta Barzilai, who won in Lisbon last year. She will perform her new single, Nana Banana, at the final on Saturday.
Making people come here and see how amazing Israel is, giving us a chance to show how big of a party we can make and how amazing and genuine it can be, energy-wise. Wow!
41 nations are competing to win Europe's oldest song contest. It's the third time Israel has hosted it. Security has been beefed up along the beach promenade, but the ever-glitzy event has not escaped controversy. The event has been highly politicized from the beginning. There have been some calls to boycott the event because of Israel's military occupation of the Palestinian territories. International Palestinian and Israeli artists signed petitions to urge others to stay away from the event. Now that it's arrived, they still want to highlight what they see as the political reality.
Let's stop for a second and try to look at reality from a bit higher perspective. Not only this, this beach is really beautiful and everybody's happy and smiling and the beer is tasty, but just a few kilometers from here, really crazy things are happening.
Here at the Eurovision Press Center, politics couldn't be further away. The organizer of the contest, the European Broadcasting Union, has set strict rules banning politics from the stage. Among bloggers and journalists covering the event, it's all about who is going to win this year's contest. The Dutch entry is one of the favorites.
Lawrence Duncan with kind of a cheesy, nice ballad is in first place, but my favorite and my bet, hopefully, is Bilal Hassani, the French singer, 19 years old, Muslim, gay, and he's now climbed up to fourth place in the odds. Hopefully he'll win. Sweden with John Lundvik is second place, so it's Sweden, France, Holland. That's the big battle.
Fewer foreign visitors than expected have turned up, but with pop icon Madonna making a guest appearance, the final on Saturday is still sold out.
DW's Tanya Kramer put that report together for us. She joins us now from Jerusalem. Good morning to you, Tanya. Can you tell us how much are politics right now overshadowing the music this year?
Well, as you could see in the report, it depends really who you ask. Very early on, when it was clear that Israel will host this music event, there were calls for boycott. One of the main groups was the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions campaign, a pro-Palestinian group, arguing actually that this bringing this event here would whitewash Israel's policies in the occupied Palestinian territory. And they had called on broadcasters, on the artists and also on the fans not to take part in it. And also there have been petitions by international artists, also Palestinian and Israeli artists, to highlight human rights violations by the Israeli army in the Palestinian territory. But at the same time, you also had petitions who said this event shouldn't be boycotted also by international artists. And having said that, the EBU has set out very clear rules that this is not a political event and called on this event to go ahead. And none of the broadcasters actually have followed these boycott calls. So we probably have to wait and see a bit if some more of the local protests that have been happening here in the past days will continue also until the grand finale on Saturday.
Okay, there wasn't only the increased pressure from the BDS community, but there are also huge security concerns, especially since last week's rocket attacks by Hamas on Israel. How is that affected security for the contest?
Yeah, this has certainly added at the time more security concerns. The escalation between Gaza militants and the Israeli army that time had been ended by understandings brokered by Egypt, and those understandings are now slowly being implemented. But the test really comes this week because it also coincides actually last year around the Eurovision, again with anniversaries. Today and commemorations. Today, Palestinians are commemorating the Nakba Day. It's the day they commemorate every year when their ancestors had to flee from their homeland in 1948 during the Arab-Israeli War. So there are always and every year demonstrations and protests. We also hear there are protests being held again along the Gaza border. And last year, just to remind you, it was the day when the U.S. embassy was moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. That coincided also with Eurovision at the time. Over 50 protesters were killed by Israeli sniper fire. So all this adds, of course, to some of the tensions. But having said that, we saw it in the report, security has been beefed up along the beaches and also the main Euro village where all the fans will be watching. Those who are not having tickets will be watching on a big screen the event. So security is certainly heightened around the event for the whole week.
Tanya, just a few seconds left. Madonna's appearance, could that be a bright spot for this event?
Well, she has already said she will come no matter what. She has said she doesn't want to hear any calls for boycott, and she said she wants to bring a message of peace to this area and that she does really care about what's happening here. So that will be her message. She's supposed to be a guest singer at the grand finale on Saturday.
Tanya Kramer for us. Thanks so very much for that.